I gotta talk about this. Parents are panicking, babies are in the hospital, store shelves are empty, and while we're seeing some progress being made in Washington on this baby formula shortage, guys, sadly, it's too late. So when I first heard about what was going on, I needed to know more, and I started having like all these questions, and then I just like dove down a rabbit hole. And what I was able to find out was that there's been poor mismanagement about this whole situation, from the leaders at the plant in question all the way up to the people in government. I've also learned that how the formula industry is set up also plays a huge role in the mess that we're in right now. So what happened? How did we get here? And could this all have been prevented? Let's break it all down, starting off with what happened in September of last year. So this is when the Food and Drug Administration learns about issues at an Abbott Laboratories plant in Michigan. Now the FDA goes in to see what's going on and finds personnel working at the facility directly with formula not properly washing their hands. The same day, while investigators are at the facility checking what's up, the Minnesota Health Department contacts the agency saying that a baby had gotten sick from a bacteria after drinking formula made at the same plant. It's then October, and someone blows the whistle and accusing the FDA and Abbott of releasing untested formula, hiding info on past FDA audits, and being lazy about cleaning. Okay, again, this is all allegedly. So what happens next? Nothing. Couple months go by, and now it's February, when the FDA collects samples from the plant to see if there was evidence of the bacteria that was making babies sick. Now, while all this is happening, we're dealing with inflation and tons of supply issues and shortages in many different industries. And we're starting to see kind of an increase in the shortage on formula just from that. On February 17th, the FDA issues a recall on a bunch of formula made at the plant. This includes Similac and specialized formulas for babies with allergies and other health conditions that require a particular diet. The plant is then shut down. And it's important to note that this plant in particular makes more than 40% of the formula consumed in the US. It's a market leader. I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit. Now with the recall and the plant closure, surely something was done right away. I mean, this was a major formula producing plant that was no longer producing formula. And anything that was previously made at the plant with an expiration date of April 1st or later was being pulled from store shelves and thrown out. While all this is going on, tensions are building in Ukraine and Russia. And a week after the recall, Russia invades Ukraine. It's a huge story, it takes over headlines. But here at home, nothing is being done to address the issues that we're about to see in a few months' time. It's not until the end of April that we start to see store shelves become bare that we start hearing more headlines about it. And most of it centers around the concerns of parents being frantically trying to find food for their babies. Then it's May, and finally, everyone is like, oh crap. Abbott releases a statement saying that there's no conclusive evidence to link its formulas to these infant illnesses. Then President Joe Biden starts taking action, meeting with manufacturers and retailers. On May 16th, the FDA and Abbott reach an agreement on a consent decree to restart production at the Michigan plant. A judge then signs off on the 33-page document, which outlines the steps that Abbott would need to take before it could start making formula again. Once all of that's checked off and approved, Abbott said that it could start reproduction probably by the end of the week. But we wouldn't really see formula on store shelves until 2 months. So we're talking about August now, before we start seeing formula from this plant on the store shelves. And then this is when President Joe Biden comes out and does two things. He invokes the Defense Production Act, which allows resources to be redirected to formula manufacturers so they can amp up production. He also launches Operation Fly Formula to use federal planes to fly formula in from abroad. And while this is great, isn't this just a little too late now? I mean, the store shelves are empty. They're empty. And so it just leaves me asking so many questions, like why in the heck wasn't this addressed sooner? Well, Congress is actually taking a look at this, specifically why the FDA had a slow response into the bacteria/formula investigation. What took them so long? I should also mention that the Senate is looking into tax practices of Abbott. As I kept diving deeper, I started to find how the formula industry is set up. And it's a problem. There's only 4 companies that control 90% of the formula consumed in the US. Abbott holds the majority. These companies, to save money on production cost, only have a few facilities, which poses a huge risk when one of them shuts down and they just so happen to be the major maker of formula in the country. How did Abbott grab the majority in the formula market? Well, half the formula sold in the US is paid for by the Department of Agriculture through its special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children, or WIC. And what happens is that states will enter in an exclusive contract with one of these companies so that the government can get a price cut to be able to provide these formulas to families of low income. In exchange, the formula maker becomes the market leader in that area. Abbott has a WIC monopoly of 2/3 in all states. So the plant shutting down was huge and nothing was done. Nothing for months. I had to share what I found out when I was researching this story because I just wanted to help inform you and many other parents. So please don't forget to like and subscribe.